Hi everybody, Gilbert Gonzalez Jr. here with Phoenix Ministry, and I have a very special guest. I'm like...
Incredibly special.
Yes, and humble.
Gosh.
The amazing Executive Director of Canyon Walker Connections and an advisor on our board of Phoenix Ministry, the amazing Kathy Baldock.
And your friend.
And my friend. Aww.
And your friend.
And my friend.
Yep.
And my friend.
Yep.
We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yep.
Schedules kind of conflict.
And I happen to be here.
Well, she happens to be here. And so tell us a little bit about what you are doing here in Long Beach, California.
I give variations on the research that I've done, the history of cultural and religious discrimination against the LGBT community. And I do variations on it from 1.5 hours to 6. And yesterday I got to do one of my 6-hour ones at Evergreen Baptist Church. It's just wonderful to watch people understand that they think God and the Bible are against them, and to shed light on the truth of what the ancient texts say in ancient contexts, and you can see people get free. It's wonderful.
We'll put a link there at the bottom of the description box. Her book is called Walking the Bridgeless Canyon.
Yep.
And she's a phenomenal author. And so we're going to have our devotional today. Our devotional I'm very excited about.
And so am I. Better than the Christmas one, right?
Oh, the shade!
I don't like, well, is that okay to say?
It's okay.
I'm not a fan of the Christmas holidays.
She's not a fan of the Christmas holiday. And I'll send you a link to our video where we talk about Christmas. But you're going to get a very different Kathy today. We are talking about a holiday that she loves.
I love Thanksgiving.
And it's Thanksgiving. So grab a cup of pumpkin spice latte or a piece of pumpkin bread, and we're going to get started. We're going to talk about an attitude of gratitude today, the power of a thank you. And so, Kathy, if you would not mind, will you please read our first scripture?
Absolutely. It's actually called a psalm for giving thanks. Shout to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations.
I could listen to her read the whole Bible. It's amazing. So, Kathy, in this scripture, it says to enter his courts with thanksgiving. Why do you think that that is something that's important? What kind of mind frame do you think it puts us in when, before we get to anything else, when we're going to God, we enter his courts with thanksgiving?
You know, I was thinking about this beforehand, and I was thinking about it in terms of relationship. I know God is all-powerful, and he's so much higher than I am and so much bigger than I am. But to me, it's still relationship. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't go into the home of my best friends, or anybody actually, and grimace right away, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say, oh, it's just been such an awful day. I can't believe you didn't answer the phone 10 minutes ago. Like, I wouldn't go complaining to anybody. The first words you have with people, strangers, people you love, people that are acquaintances, the first words you have with people set the tone for the exchange. And how much better is that? Mm-hmm. When we do that with God? And where I enter with thanksgiving, I don't do this typically sit down. Anyone that knows me knows that I do this out in nature, and how can you not be thankful? Often I've thought to myself, I don't know what other colors I could imagine for the outdoors, but I have said out loud many times while on trails, God, you picked such good colors for the outdoors. So how could I not recognize that? And I've got a lot to be grateful for. So it's not difficult for me, but it's a way to start relationship, changes my attitude. It certainly doesn't change God's attitude, but it certainly changes my attitude.
I love that.
Towards the engagement.
In doing some of this research, I found that Forbes, Emotion, and Time magazine, they've all done studies. So they have found that there are at least 5 unanimous, scientifically proven benefits of gratitude. Gratitude opens the doors to more relationships. People
Yeah.
that say thank you more,
Yeah.
people that say, you know,
Yeah.
you're welcome, that are just overall more appreciative, they tend to have longer running friendships. They tend to have more friendships, and they have it in abundance. For your physical health, this I thought was really crazy. Overwhelmingly, people that say thank you and you're welcome and show more appreciation are less likely to get chronic illnesses, less likely to get aches and pains, and even some diseases, and are even less likely to suffer mental depression. They sleep better, they have healthier appetites, and overall are in better mental health and emotional health just by saying thank you.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing. There was other
Wow.
studies that you're going to love this too. Other studies, even Harvard University did this study. They found that people that are CEOs and managers of corporations, when they say thank you to their employees or their staff, or have little benefit, breakfasts or team building exercises, 50% higher productivity, 50% higher sales, because it raises and boosts the morale of the company, and the workers feel appreciated and they perform better. So even if you're not like a real spiritual person, or you're like, you know what, I don't really care about anybody but myself, showing gratitude is even, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's even a selfish thing that you can do. It's better for you all around because you're putting in that extra effort and you're gonna get it back. And that's said in all faiths and all religious and spiritual truths out there.
Well, thank you for that, Gilbert.
You're welcome.
I'm feeling better already.
There we go.
I'm feeling younger already. The chapter of Isaiah is called Songs of Praise, and it says, "In that day you will say, give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, make known among the nations what he has done, and proclaim that his name is exalted."
So I think it's really cool in the context that me and Kathy are talking about. We're both believers that really base our relationship with God on just that relationship. We love relationship.
Yep. Yeah.
And so in this context, Kathy, what good do you think can come from sharing the positive things that God has done for you in your relationship with him?
First, I'm going to be selfish.
Okay.
And I'm going to say sharing the good things God has done for me, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm a problem solver by nature. People probably know that about me. When something breaks, I do not call, hello, help me. I try to solve my problems. So I'm pretty good at solving problems. But when real problems come into my life of varying degrees, and I give that to God, and I don't try to solve it, I am so surprised at the creativity with which those problems are solved, or things that I could never imagine coming into my life as a benefit of a problem, a new direction in life. And so reminding myself how God has solved those problems reminds me that the way things are often solved are so far beyond my comprehension. For instance, I could not imagine the direction my life would take after I was separated and then divorced. I thought I would just go on the path of, I was a pretty good salesperson, getting into a company and being their top salesperson. But I started hanging out with LGBT people, and I actually quit a really good sales job, not knowing what the heck was going to come my way. But something inside of me told me to do that. And who would ever have guessed that this is where I would end up being? If you had asked me to list 10 things, 100 things, I never would have listed this. So I've just learned by reminding myself what he has done, that he has done unbelievable things in the past that were not on my radar, that are so creative, and they don't just benefit me. Isn't that wonderful? They don't just benefit me. But then, yes, the second part of that is to encourage others that the same way, though, if you are open to different solutions that are not boxed in by your own imaginations, just the wonderful things that can come your way. I mean, you must know that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you that don't know my story, I was agnostic, borderline atheist for a long time because of my being gay.
Right.
I didn't want to hear that, God was for me because I didn't see any healthy role models of that at the time, really. So it took me just being more open, even surrendering, even something as physical as like putting my hands up in worship felt so weird for me. I had to get over some things to just surrender and open myself up. You know, somebody who was said, I don't believe in God or a specific God because I'm just too open-minded to do that. Well, it's ironic that actually I was closing myself off to even the idea that there could be a God that was an absolute.
I remember someone along the same lines of opening up or closing down. Just after I was starting to go through the pain of a divorce, a pastor came to me and he said to me, Kathy, I want you to consciously be aware that every time pain comes, that you don't do what we naturally do. Oh, like this hurts.
Yeah.
He said, I want you to open your heart, and if it takes you physically opening your arms and lifting them up to point your heart towards God. And I remember for a very long season at that point, when I was hiking by myself, because you can't like walk through the grocery store like this, right? Or maybe you could.
I do.
Well, of course you could.
I do.
To when I started to feel pain, to thrust my heart towards God to say, this hurts. Wow. Please heal it. Because he's such a creative problem solver. Mm-hmm. And so part of repeating the good things he has done for me, yes, it's for other people, but it's to constantly remind me that little Miss Problem Solver can't solve it all. And I'm just too limited in the way I want to solve things sometimes.
You said something I think that's very important, Kathy. I think there might be some people watching that maybe struggle with gratitude, struggle with saying thank you for things because they have so much pain. Mm-hmm. I think what you just said is so important. In Psalms, we see even David would go to God and would get real with him and would lodge his complaints and say to God, God, I'm hurting right now. What I'm going through, it hurts. I don't know if I can stand this. I don't know that if I can take this. And I think that I do see that as a form of gratitude, because what you're doing in that moment is you're showing that you understand that God is listening to you. You're not being a bitter Betty or a negative Nancy.
No.
You're being honest with God. You're lamenting to him. And you're saying, God, I'm trusting that you're listening to me and that you're going to guide me through this. That actually is thanksgiving. That's fellowship with God, because you're trusting him to give him your cares and your hurts and your pains, and that's what he wants.
And I remember many years ago sitting on a cliff at Sea Ranch in Northern California by myself, left my family behind in a house, and I went out to the cliff and I got real with him, with those bad parts and those good parts of me. Yeah. And when I read Jeremiah 29, and it said, seek me with all your heart, all of it. And I think at that point in my Christian walk, I was seeking him with the best parts of me. Ooh. Right? The parts that were Christian acceptable, performance acceptable, the good Christian wife, good Christian mother, good Christian friend. And that was all part of just letting that. There were parts that I think probably I shut away. There was only 17 words in that verse, I think, or maybe there's 20-something words. And when I finally got to the point where I felt like I was giving God all my heart, thankfully giving God all my heart, I looked back and I said, how did it take me 17 years to move 20 words? That's a very slow pace. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But it's real. I mean, it's so real. Right? 15 years ago, and I've got the benefit of it now. I don't, those 17 years are way behind me. Oh. So that's the part of me reminding myself that, no, I didn't want to go through that process. And yes, it did take a long time. And the end result was not the result I wanted. I wanted to preserve my marriage, etc. But something more amazing happened. So I'm a pretty happy, thankful person, and I do like Thanksgiving.
I love it. Yes. I'm going to read a couple of statistics or a couple of facts about Thanksgiving, Kathy's favorite holiday.
Yes.
I thought these were fun. So on average, the average American household on Thanksgiving dinner alone spends $59.18 just on the dinner. The dinner part. That's like the turkey,
household,
the stuffing.
That's not per person.
That's like the turkey and like the stuffing and the mashed potatoes. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
But then we get into the totality of the weekend, because Black Friday and then Saturday and Sunday, you ran out of pumpkin pie, but you have all the whipped cream, so you go back to the grocery store.
I don't.
Oh. Maybe it's
Are
just
you
me.
ratting yourself out here?
Oh, yeah, I'm ratting myself out. And so do other Americans. So the average American household for the whole weekend of Thanksgiving, maybe you didn't even know that people do this, Because when you have leftovers, and that's what they do with hot dogs. They sell hot dogs and buns, not like
They do.
They do it on purpose. So you'll get 12 hot dogs,
and
but
8
only
buns.
8 buns, so that you have to keep buying both of them back and forth. It's a big conspiracy. And so it's the same thing with Thanksgiving dinner. We have to buy stuff to go along with the leftovers, and then those become more leftovers, so then we buy more stuff. It's a circle, but I like it. $342 for the whole weekend of Thanksgiving food.
Come on.
39 million families travel on Thanksgiving, not individuals. 39 million families travel in the U.S. every Thanksgiving. The number of turkeys that are consumed on Thanksgiving Day is 51,650,000.
Wow.
Almost 52 million turkeys.
Wow.
And here's the big drum roll. The total U.S. spending on the Thanksgiving holiday every year, $2.98 billion in the U.S.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's pretty expensive. I'm going to have the cha-ching.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Wow. So after all that, and thank you for making my favorite holiday expensive.
Right? You have to save up for Kathy's favorite holiday.
I don't know. I still think I'll keep mine around the... Well, actually, I'm going to someone's house, so I'm going to keep it around the $12
around
budget.
The $12 budget. That's true.
Well, and I'm thankful.
Yes.
I'm thankful.
Lots to be thankful for. So thanks, everybody, for joining us today on our special devotional. We hope you enjoyed it.
And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for PHOENIXministry.org, and also check out the website for PHOENIXministry.org. There's plenty of Bible studies going on in the California area. So look for a Bible study near you and the timing. And I see the pictures. I see the pictures on Facebook and Instagram. And not only do they do Bible study, there's often really good meals involved. So, and great fellowship. I know a lot of these folks, and they're wonderful. So check out those Bible studies. They're great.
Thank you very much, Kathy, for being our special guest. We love you.
I am so grateful. I've known you how many years now?
Oh, about 5 or 6 years now.
And it's been a good relationship.
It has been,
and I am grateful for you, honey.
Oh, she's gonna be crying.
I am grateful.
Thank you, Kathy.
Grateful.
So I missed the beginning of Gilbert's message because I was getting together my stuff. And apparently his beginning was the same as my end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Thank
you, Kathy.
Grateful.
We love you. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.